My wife slept with her boss and got promoted. She blames me for it, and she threw me out of the house. But she doesn't know that I secretly own the company she works at.
Your wife is killer.
My name is Fraser, and this is my story.
Fraser Macklemore straightened his tie and brushed his hands down the front of his suit before pushing open the door of the business director's office at Philly Group.
How many times have I told you, knock on the door before you come in? How hard is that to remember?
My wife, can you stop reminding me of the rules?
He asked, smiling bitterly. He had anticipated the scolding, but it had still hurt. Natalia Laples, the business director of the real estate group, glared at her husband.
You know, because I'm your wife, I tried to cut you some slack. You've been working here for 3 months now, and I tried to get your name out there. How many properties have you sold?
Nothing.
You haven't brought in even a single customer. What have you been doing? Sitting around like you're still at home? With the current housing market situation, even a fool would be better than you.
Hearing the volume of his wife's scolding, Fraser immediately closed the door behind him. At the very least, he couldn't let others hear the embarrassing firing he was a victim of.
Why do you even bother shutting the door? Even if you shut the door, it's not like everyone doesn't know how much of a joke you are. I was really blind when I married you.
Natalia's heart ached as she said these words. She felt wronged. The two of them had been college sweethearts. Natalia had been at the top of her class and could have had her own choice of suitors. However, in the end, she had chosen Fraser. Fraser sat with big dreams for his career. After graduation, he even started his own business. Unfortunately, it had failed. He hadn't recovered from the failure. Instead, he stayed home and cared for the household. He would cook and clean while Natalia worked. He had done that for 3 years until Natalia's family couldn't watch him being unable to bring in a more considerable income. They had given Fraser an ultimatum. He needed to find a job with a salary of at least $10,000 a month. San Clemente, California, was a beautiful town, but there weren't many jobs that could pay that much. Thus, Natalia had no choice but to swallow her pride and offer him a job in the sales department at a real estate company where she was the business director, the Philly Group. Now, as Fraser stood in Natalia's office, she had come to regret that decision. Fraser didn't reply for a long time. He glanced uncomfortably at her. His heart softened, but he still felt helpless.
Natalia, it's not that I don't want to work hard. It's that the sales manager always steals my customers. The sales manager hates me. The whole department hates me. From day one, I haven't been able to keep a single customer.
Fraser, how many times have I told you? You need to learn to be objective. Take some initiative and responsibility.
Very well. I'll try harder, I promise.
I don't believe that. I'd rather believe pigs can fly. Look, I'll try to help you out again. I've talked to these 2 clients. You just need to contact them.
Fraser felt a burst of embarrassment, but he was also touched. His wife always had a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. After taking the piece of paper, he dejectedly left her office. As soon as he stepped out of the door, he heard laughter erupting from the previously quiet sales department. A salesperson, Tarzan Linster, quickly grabbed a cloth and passed it to Fraser.
Hurry up and get back to work. You like housework?
Tarzan laughed mockingly at Fraser before saying,
Go ahead and tidy the office. You know, I don't understand you. Director Labels makes plenty of money. She can support you just fine. Why don't you run on back home and get back to your classic housework and cooking? Why are you trying to steal work from the rest of us, You're worthless here.
Tarzan! Joe Parker, one of the higher-up salespeople, pushed the salesperson away. Fraser didn't trust Joe any more than he trusted Tarzan. Joe always acted as the manager's spy. He had directly taken customers from Fraser on countless occasions.
Come on, Joe, why don't you push him out instead? All you have to do is hit him.
Tarzan had a cruel look on his face and even took a step closer. Fraser was used to their provocation, but it didn't mean he liked it. He glared at the two men and headed to his desk. Joe spat out as Fraser walked away.
Bah! Trash is really giving our department a bad name. What are you laughing at? Go back to work. Come on, guys! I want sales! 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 Sales!
When the mocking voices faded and everyone started to get back to work, Fraser unfolded the note Natalia had given him. However, just as he was about to call the first number on the list, a large, middle-aged man walked over to stand beside his desk. Fraser peered up into the irritated face of his manager, Peter Earle. Peter glared condescendingly at Fraser before asking,
Macklemore, who gave you permission to use your personal cell phone on company time?
I'm calling a client.
Oh, really? Do you really think that you can succeed in making a sale? Why are you so stubborn? Look at them. They can sell a property every few days. Then we have you. You're worthless. If it wasn't for the fact that your wife is the boss, I would have fired you a long time ago. Do you think you could earn the same salary as those guys for doing nothing? Macklemore, this is your last chance. If you can sell 100 properties by tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, then you can stay. I'll even give you a promotion. If you don't, then you have to pack your stuff and leave.
A murmur went through the sales department as everyone heard the almost impossible task on Fraser's hands. Although the employees knew that Peter was determined to get rid of Fraser, they never expected him to be so ruthless by demanding the young man to sell 100 properties in less than 24 hours. The most that the department had ever sold was a combined effort among the entire staff to sell 89 properties in 2 weeks. Selling 100 in a day was an unrealistic goal. News of the challenge quickly spread through the entire building. Soon after, Natalia also heard the news and rushed out of her office. Although she knew that Peter was deliberately making things difficult for Fraser, and she didn't like it, she still greeted her sales manager with a forced smile.
Mr. Earle, don't you think you're being a little impractical?
She asked.
Do you think those numbers are actually...
Don't say anything.
Peter interrupted Natalia coldly.
Director Labels, it was because of this idiot that our sales department became the laughingstock of the Philly group, and even the entire San Clemente real estate industry. Therefore, I have a responsibility to my team that can't be avoided.
Peter stood up straight and announced,
By 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, if your useless husband can't sell 100 properties, then he'll be kicked out, and you'll be dragged out along with him.
Looking at Peter's malicious smile, Fraser had the urge to punch the man in his smug face. But when he saw Natalia's unsteady feet, he rushed forward to support her.
You all right?
He asked softly. Natalia was still in a daze. She had come to the company soon after graduating from college and had worked hard to reach her current position. Now, in the blink of an eye, it could all be lost because of the ultimatum to her husband. Have all these years of hard work just gone down the drain? She wondered. If I lose my job over this, how will we support ourselves? Will I have to rely on my useless husband? This joke was quickly becoming not funny at all. The more Natalia thought about it, the angrier she got. She almost slapped Fraser.
Everything is going wrong because of you!
Oh, Natalia. What's wrong? You angry again?
Asked a voice from afar. When Fraser turned and saw the young man, his expression darkened. Was dressed extravagantly. Even the sunglasses he wore were worth hundreds of dollars. He was Moss Ferlin, a junior executive of the Philly Group. During Fraser's 3 months in his new position, he had seen Moss harass his wife countless times. It was a good thing that Natalia had some keen observation skills and could defend herself. Every time Moss tried to pester her, she was able to avoid his moves with great ingenuity and rationality. Regardless, it was annoying, and now that he had appeared at this awkward moment, Fraser had a bad feeling.
Dr. Naples, what's going on?
Moss asked in a strange tone. Before Natalia could respond, Peter stepped up and immediately explained the situation. Moss nodded and agreed, but paused thoughtfully before asking.
But Mr. Earl, aren't you being a little too heartless? Especially involving our lovely director, Naples, in your threat?
Moss thought about it for a while and came to a conclusion, saying,
See, how about this? Let me take care of this little situation for now. Natalia. So you worked really hard to get to where you are with the company. And I appreciate your hard work. You should understand this without me even saying anything. So you have dinner with me tomorrow evening. We're going to discuss how we're going to proceed. Perhaps I can think of a way for you to get a promotion. I think it's supposed to be cold tomorrow. So be sure to bring your stockings.
Fraser wasn't stupid either. He naturally understood the hidden meaning behind the junior executive's words.
Do you think I don't exist?
He could let a lot of things slide, but when it came to his wife and her dignity, there was no way he could tolerate such a behavior. Fraser was about to explode.
Stop it, Fraser. Don't you think you've caused me enough trouble already?
She turned away before anyone could see the embarrassment on her face. She was confused and didn't know what to do. Glancing at Fraser again, Moss grinned. He leaned over and whispered,
Might as well tell you. I've taken a fancy to your wife, and I plan to with her. And someone like you can't stop me. I just simply can't compete.
Moss left with a burst of laughter while Fraser kept his head down. He dug his fingernails angrily into the flesh of his palms. Moss had completely embarrassed him and trampled all over his dignity. Later that evening, after Fraser had left work, he stood on the bridge and watched the flow of traffic below, his mind lost in thought. As his thoughts coalesced, his gaze grew colder and more determined.
No matter how wrong I am, I can still endure it. But if anyone goes after Natalia, all bets are off. I'll personally send them to hell.
He took out his phone, found a number he hadn't used in years, and clicked on the call icon. The phone quickly connected, and an excited voice could be heard from the other end of the line.
When I picked up the phone and I saw who was calling, I couldn't believe it. Is it really you, my young friend? You actually called. Did you know I was...
Fraser interrupted the person on the other end of the line.
Uncle Sam, I'm in some trouble right now. I need your help.
What? Someone's trying to harm you? Of course I can send.
No, it's not that troublesome. Just need money to solve this problem. I need a few $1 million.
Old Sam sighed in relief.
You gave me such a scare. Look, forget about the money. Whatever you need, it's yours. But...
He hesitated.
No need to say anything more. I understand that since I'm asking for help, my decision to separate myself from the family becomes invalid. But I can't return just yet.
Uncle Sam was excited to hear Fraser's words. He had been waiting to hear them for years.
Good. This wouldn't be a problem. long as you agree to return to the family, everything will be fine. You know, of all the successes for the Macklemore family, the one your father values the most is you.
Fraser became silent for a moment. He really didn't want to talk about this topic. He cleared his throat and tried to get the conversation back on track.
How long till the money gets here? You should still know the private account information, right?
However, Uncle Sam was still going on about the family.
Fraser, I won't hide it from you. After your father found out you were in San Clemente, he secretly purchased the largest company there, in your name. You have plenty of money. You can just go and take over the company.
Hearing that, Fraser pursed his lips. It seemed that even though he had been away from home for many years, his father was still thinking about him. Otherwise, according to the nature of the Macklemore family, they wouldn't have even considered buying a business in a place as small as San Clemente.
You'll also be interested to know that a member of the Orange County Chamber of Commerce has ties to the family, as well as companies and businesses in the local area also having strong connections to the family.
Okay, thanks for the heads up. We'll talk again soon. It looks like the days ahead are going to be far from peaceful.
To listen to the full audio series, install the Pocket FM app now.